Here we go. In three, two, and one. Hello, everyone, and welcome back once again to the Great Scott Podcast. Today, I am joined by comedian and actor, Mr. Aries Spears. How's it going, Aries?
I'm good. How you doing? It's Aries, brother.
Aries Spears. My apologies.
All good, all good.
What a nice way to start off. You can't even pronounce the guest's name right. Yes, batting 1,000 here, folks. Anyways, Aries, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for coming on to the program. I've been watching you for years now. So, anyways, but starting out, so at a time when people are still in school and trying to figure their lives out, you actually knew what you wanted to do from an early age. You were like 14 years old when you actually started doing stand up.
Yeah. Yeah, thank God my parents were movie enthusiasts. My father had a large collection of movies and all different kind of genres and ranges. And my mother was already a jazz and blues singer. So entertainment is kind of something that was already in the bloodlines.
Yeah.
And I was born in '75, so I was an '80s baby. So a ritual for me and my dad was always to watch Eddie Murphy on SNL.
Oh yeah.
And then he took me to go see Trading Places and 48 Hours, and that was kind of it. Uh, I always kind of knew comedy was something that I loved. Growing up as a kid, I was kind of like a latchkey kid, me and my sister. So when we came home from school, I mean, TV was it. And then I started picking up on being able to do voices and mimicry. And then it just kind of all culminated together as one. And then by the time I got in my teens, man, I found out that Eddie Murphy, somebody who I had idolized, started doing stand up at 14 years old. We got the same birthday, same zodiac sign. So I just took it all as like one big signal to go, to dive right in.
And Murphy was pretty young too when he got his start. He was
Yeah,
like,
he was. I think he started at 14 as well.
absolutely. So, and then the following year, at age 15, you're on Def Comedy Jam.
Yeah,
By age 15.
yeah. Actually no, Def Jam was I was 16.
Or 16.
But when Def Jam first got started, the very first year with Martin Lawrence as the host, the guy who actually was the brainchild behind Def Jam, the guy out of New Jersey, Bob Sumner, he knew all of us local comics in the Jersey, New York area, but he kind of felt like I wasn't really ready at that particular time. But then a year later, while Martin was still the host, he put me on. So yeah, that was kind of like my first that was actually my first television debut as a comedian, and the rest is kind of history.
So tell me, so at 16, when you make your television debut and you have Martin Lawrence as the host, this great actor, was there a lot of nerves going through you behind the scenes? Or did you really feel prepared at age 16, like you were ready for this moment?
I mean, I felt as prepared as I could at that time.
Yeah.
Because I had been doing it. Not like it's a lot of experience, but I at least had 2 years worth of experience. So for whatever that meant at the time, yeah, I was ready. But I to this day, I'm 32 years in, and I still get very nervous before every show because it's like at the end of the day, you're being judged, and
Yeah.
you want to be accepted, and even if the people based on my longevity and my history, there's already a built-in acceptance because they know who I am, they know the product, they know the cocaine is strong. Um, you still just have those natural feelings of wanting to get it right. So I always use like sports analogies because I think they're very close to what we do in entertainment. But it's like once you drop your first couple of jump shots, then you start to get into a rhythm and you start to calm down and let the game come to you.
Now I've actually started. Well, I guess I haven't started, but I mean, I've done stand up myself now for about 2 or 3 years, and it's the most fun thing ever, and also the most nerve wracking thing ever as well.
Yeah.
Because an audience is not afraid to tell you what they exactly think of you, and I know that you know that, but definitely not for the faint of heart. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, especially a Black audience, they love to tell you what they think of you, and I don't know what could be more frightening or disheartening, because white people let you know how they feel about you too, only in silence.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's more traumatic to be cursed at, yelled at, belittled by an audience member, or just to be in a room of silence. I've yeah. Yeah, it's a tough gig, man. It's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Now, so you had mentioned that you had done impressions as well, and before I'm sure you're always asked to do impressions, but there's one that I want you to do. But before you do, did your impression start by you making fun of your family members? Is that who you really started to first start off mimicking?
No, not really. Again, for me, TV was a big influence. So a lot of what I saw on television, sitcoms, commercials, I would mimic and copy.
Okay, so the impression that I absolutely love that you do is Shaq.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, so you had done Shaq right in front of him, and I
Right.
just want to ask Shaq a question, if that's
Yeah.
yeah. Shaq, when you played for the Lakers, did you and Kobe get along well?
We got along and shit. He's always gonna be a little brother to me. It's like if I'm the big dog, I gotta guard the house. And if you don't feed the big dog, anybody can come into the house. But always went to Kobe, always liked Kobe. He was like Michael Jordan. He had assassin's mentality. Big dog. You gotta give me the ball. I got 28, 10. I dominate. I gotta dominate.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I was scared. I was scared as to which one you were going to ask me to do. I was hoping it was going to either be Shaq or Tony Soprano.
Oh no, I wouldn't make it work that hard. Don't worry. No, no.
Oh no, I say that because those are the easier ones to do, especially at this time in the morning when I'm kind of like not really got all my juices flowing
Oh
yet.
sure, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so I was hoping you were going to make me go the lazy route.
Don't worry. I wouldn't make my guess work that hard. So, so you're now on a show called the Underground, I think it is,
No, that's been gone. That's ages ago.
ages ago with Damon Wayans.
Yeah, that happened ages ago. Yeah, I'm on the road touring right now.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. You'll be at the so just for a plug for you, you'll be at the Brea Improv.
Yes,
Uh,
tonight through Sunday.
yeah, absolutely. And I hope that you come to Kansas City sometime soon. I really do.
Yeah, I just saw my agent. We just confirmed Kansas City. Oh my God, I want to say July, in July.
Gotcha, gotcha. I cannot wait for you
Yeah.
to come.
Also, you're from Kansas.
Missouri, actually,
Oh, okay.
Kansas City, Missouri. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So, but anyways, so something else that I actually did not know as I was reading your bio is that you are the second longest running cast member on Mad TV.
I was.
Yeah, behind Michael McDonald.
Yeah, I mean, once Deborah Wilson left, because of course she was there from the very beginning.
Yeah,
But yeah, once Deborah Wilson left, yeah, I guess I took that title.
absolutely. So, what was it like to be behind the scenes? Because I'm always interested of. I've gotten to talk to like SNL people. I've had SNL people on here, but what 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 was it like working with that crew and cast? Because you had such talent. You had Nicole Sullivan, you had Deborah
Yeah,
Wilson, Michael McDonald, you had you, Frank Caliendo. The list of names could
Stephanie
go on.
Weir, Will Sasso, Phil Lamar.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mo Collins. It was a juggernaut of a cast.
absolutely, absolutely. And I think Sasso has done probably the best Robert De Niro impression that I've seen.
Yeah, that and Steven Seagal was one of my favorite by him. Chris Farley was unbelievable. I always used to tell people, for a guy that never did stand up, he was extremely funny, man.
Absolutely, just fantastic. We
Yeah,
haven't seen, unfortunately, we haven't seen Will for a little while on a whole lot as of late.
yeah. Last time I checked, I think he was doing some show on, I want to say ABC. I don't know if that's still happening, but
Do you still keep in contact with all of your former cast members?
nah, not really. It's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. I
Yeah,
might run into Will with Brian Callen at the Laugh Factory in LA on some nights, some weekends. Um, I see Deborah in interviews here and there, but yeah, we're kind of all,
just kind of scattered all
in our
over.
own directions. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, so going backwards for just a moment, I meant to say something. By the time that you were 17, you were in a film called Home of Angels.
Oh, I was actually looking for that yesterday on Amazon because if it ain't on Amazon Prime, it really don't exist. But that was so long ago. I thought that was my first movie when I was literally, I want to say, Jesus, maybe 13, 12. So I was looking to see if that thing exists, but I couldn't find it.
I was going to say I was going to look for it right after I got off here with you and go watch that.
Yeah, man, that'd be like finding buried treasure.
If I do find it, I'll definitely send it to you.
Please.
Yeah. So, but there's also one other thing, and I know I've kind of been jumping around here a little bit, but when you were in high school, you had actually dropped out to go after your acting career.
Say again?
I said when you were in high school, you had actually dropped out to go after your acting career, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I just, and this is probably not the best public service announcement, but I just knew school wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Unless you're really there to learn something specific to apply to you, to yourself as a trade. I mean, really, other than basic arithmetic and English, what do you really need to know about ecosystems for? What do you need to know about, uh, whatever century English philosophy, unless you're going to be a contestant on Jeopardy. A lot of that is useless, man.
Yeah.
So and even from a mathematics standpoint, they don't teach you the things that you should be learning in terms of financial literacy. You teaching me about geometry. How does that help me in life? Unless I'm going to be a carpenter or
Yeah.
some shit, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
So I knew what I wanted to do early, and I knew that the path for me wasn't going to be through the as I'm talking about education. Curricular, is that how you say it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Through the curricular system.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, how do were your parents in favor of you doing this?
Oh, absolutely. My mother was 100% supportive because, again, my mother came from an entertainment background, being a jazz blues singer, singing with the legendary, singing along with the legendary Lionel Hampton and his jazz band. So, she understood it. She understood that the creativity in me and that needed to be fed to my soul, and that was who I was.
Absolutely. I mean, it just seems like early on, performers usually know that okay, this is my path. It seems that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing when anybody feels like they know their calling at an early stage in their life. And even if you figure it out at a late stage in your life, by all means, go for it.
Was there ever a time, or let me ask you this? I mean, since you were so young, was there ever a time where you thought, "Oh my gosh, what am I even doing?" uh,
No,
no.
no, not from the standpoint where you're coming from. Like there's some, scary uncertainty.
Yeah.
Uh, I may have said that to myself now in terms of dealing what you got to deal with in this business. You know, um, this business is political.
Yeah.
It's narcissistic. It's racial. Listen, it's hard for anybody to make it in show business, regardless of color.
Yeah.
If you're a black man in show business, you have to face the obstacle of racism along with everything else. And if you're a black woman in show business, it's even harder because you have to face everything and sexism. So, you got to deal with racism, sexism, politics, egos, narcissistic power players. It's just so I may have said that to myself now, like, what the hell am I doing? But never from a standpoint of, oh my God, I'm doubting my ability or maybe I made the wrong choice from a creative standpoint.
Well, it seems to have worked for you, though.
Yeah, it works at times, and at other times, it's a 15-round fight.
Yeah.
So this is the weirdest business, man. It's like when it really works for you and it's in your favor, there's nothing like it. It's the sweetest thing ever. But that's the tricky part, is
Yeah.
having it work for you. It feels like to get to the goal, it's like an Indiana Jones maze. You know, you got to dodge the rolling rock, the spikes that shoot out of the wall, the ground breaking from underneath your feet with spikes at the bottom. You
Yeah.
know, it's a lot of weird tricks and turns and scary shit around the corner.
So I'll ask you my final question here that I normally ask people. For someone who's been in it for long enough, and I know you just kind of described what Hollywood is like, but what advice do you give to someone who wants to make it in show business?
Uh, uh,
All right, that's good enough.
you know, believe in yourself, stick with it. I'm a boxing fan, and again, I use a lot of sports analogies. So I'm going to go back even further. You know, once upon a time ago, before the 12th round was the final round in boxing, there used to be the 15th. Those are the Ali Sugar Ray Leonard days. So it's a 15-round fight. So you got to answer the bell, but at times when it becomes overwhelming, you got to lay up against the ropes, cover up, and take the rip shots. And if you're black and you're trying to make it in this business, walk lightly. I'm gonna tell you what Chris Rock told me: be as funny as you can, write as much as you can, and try not to piss these white folks off.
That's good. That is good advice. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Aries, thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you so much for coming on the program, and I cannot wait to see you here in Kansas City.
Appreciate you having me, and everybody check out my podcast, Spears and Steinberg, available on all streaming platforms, or hit me up in my Instagram under Aries Spears blue check mark. Slide in my DMs and I'll send you the links.
I'll post those down below when I post this interview.
Awesome.
Aries,
Awesome.
thank you so much. Much continued success to you, sir.
You got it, brother. Thank you for having me.